Hey, what's up everybody? And today is actually a really short tutorial. This is kind of just a neat little trick that I figured out. For a while now, I've been looking at the GaryVee signature, the little animated signature, and I found the guy who actually did it. He's on YouTube here, creator by the name of Magin Panic, something like that. If you search GaryVee signature animation process, he goes through the whole thing. It's super impressive. Obviously, the final product is awesome, and he's using a software that I've never even heard of before. There's a ton of tutorials out there for After Effects that get pretty close, as this guy and everyone else mentions. If you want the exact look, you kind of have to go through the program or something like it that he's doing, which is animating it frame by frame, and it gets a really smooth look to it. The After Effects ones is pretty close. I've seen some good ones and some not so good ones, but unfortunately, if you're like me and you can't draw, or you're not proficient in After Effects in that way, motion graphics and stuff, then what can you do? Well, I'm going to show you how you can do it a couple different ways. So I'm actually going to use my iPad Pro and Apple Pencil, but in a minute I will show you where you can do it with just a mouse and, you know, something like Photoshop or Notes or really any application. It's easier with a pencil, but you'll see that you can apply this to almost any situation. So before you begin or we jump into the app or anything, you want to make sure you're on a device that can screen record. So whether you're doing it on an iPad or a computer, you want to make sure that you can screen record the process, because that is basically the trick. So on an iPad, you kind of just pull down from the top right and you'll see it blinking in the bottom corner. If you don't see the screen record option, it's in your settings. And then on a computer, on a Mac, you can use QuickTime. Windows, you can probably use QuickTime as well, or there's a million screen recording software. So once you figure that out, just make sure you're screen recording before doing the whole drawing process, because that's half the point. So I'm going to use the free paper app on my iPad here. But again, any app that you can draw in, it works. So you want a clean black or white background. I'm using white as the default here, and it doesn't matter what color you use for pen, but I'm going to do my signature here. So I'm just going to draw it out. Whoops, there you go, pen tool. And that was an okay one. It's always good to do it a couple times. We have some options to choose from here. Yeah, and the cool thing is this also will apply to not only just signatures, but you can literally do anything. So I just want to be like iPad Pro. And as I mentioned, you can also do it on a computer. Again, it's a little harder with a mouse. If you have a trackpad, it may be easier. I'm in Photoshop, but again, you can do this anywhere with a blank background here. And kind of same thing, you just draw it out as best you can. Terrible. Hell of a swoosh on that first one. That was not bad. So once you're done with the actual drawing, on the iPad it will save to your Photos app, the screen recording, and we need to get it to the computer. So if you did the recording on the computer, you can skip this step, but for this, it's simple as enough. Here's a recording I did earlier. And you can see I just drew things out. iPad. And I already sent the signature one. So now all I have to do is hit share. And I'll see my computer pop up in a second. Send it to it. Boom. And now it's in my downloads folder. So I've opened up Final Cut here. You can also do this in Premiere or DaVinci, pretty much any professional editor of choice. I've inputted my screen captures here. Did these ones earlier here. And so now I'm just going to select the ones I want, since we do it a couple times, like that one. So the first thing we want to do is this one I accidentally left some tools in. So So I'm just going to easily crop out the top and the bottom. All right, and then literally just go into your effects panel on the right, or again in Premiere, and we will want to go to keying, and we want Luma Keyer. And it is simple as, I'm gonna hit invert here, drag the white down a bit to take away the white. And then what I do to make it extra vibrant is I go into the exposure controls and I actually will lift things up in here. And if it's orange, you can make it more saturated. It's also not the cleanest. There we go. Get it down more. You can kind of fine tune depending on the color. But yeah, that's literally it. Literally. And now if I were to place this over top of footage, let me import something. So now you can see that it will animate over top of footage. And obviously you can resize things. You may speed it up depending on how fast you drew things. Now if I wanted to do it to the signature, then again, go to the final spot, add Luma Keyer. Now when you have direct white and black, there's one extra step I found. So when I hit invert, bring down the whites, you can see that it's almost not filled in the text. It's almost create a line, so maybe you like that look. But if you want to fill it in, go to the exposure controls again and just bring up the shadows all the way to the top, and then that kind of makes everything nice and bright white. Now I can have a nice animated logo. So again, the nice thing is you don't have to animate anything if you're like me, and it's much faster just to sketch something or draw something, even if you're not very good at it. This is a lot faster of a process than going through After Effects to animate different graphics on screen. Maybe you need to write out charts or something as simple as your signature. So yeah, so that's it. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.